Stanford, which suggests that organic foods are not necessarily healthier for you than non-organic. And here to break down all of that information for us this morning in our Food as Medicine segment is health expert Krista Erech from The Whole Journey. Thank you for being here as always. So some people were really surprised by these findings that basically said that you're not getting more vitamins or nutrients in the organic foods. Were you surprised by this?
I was surprised by the entire study because it's caused quite a stir and a lot of controversy. And while it had some objective points to it, it really did, like we were just talking about, it really didn't cover as much about what pesticides do to the body.
So you think it needs to be part of a broader picture?
A much broader. That study was a meta-analysis, and what that means is it was a bunch of other studies pulled together, no new research. And if you're going to come out with something that powerful, I think it should be a new study. And the second thing is there weren't clinical trials. And so it's not so much about what the food is or does, but what happens when we eat it, when it mixes with human blood chemistry. That's probably the most important thing that was neglected. And I would hate for people to stop buying organic because of that article and ultimately damage their health because they don't have the entire picture.
I guess whenever I've purchased organic, I didn't do it with the thought that I'm getting more vitamins. I did it because of the whole pesticides and not wanting to ingest pesticides into my system.
Thank you. That's huge. That's probably the biggest part of this because when you eat food that's sprayed with pesticides, you introduce 50 to 70 more chemicals that your body doesn't need. And that's a burden on the liver. And something I really work with in my practice is pH balance to help people prevent cancer, lose weight, cut down on inflammation. And all pesticides are acidic. Think about this. Cancer can only exist in an acid state. And if we're going to take foods that are inherently alkaline and we spray them with something acidic, then they become acidic when we ingest them. And that's probably the biggest takeaway.
Okay,
so this whole thing.
If people out there are not currently purchasing organic and maybe just want to start with a few foods, what are some of the foods that we can really start with that you feel like are really important to buy organic, and other foods that we can maybe skimp on and it's not as important because it is more expensive?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get asked that all the time. It's more expensive. What should I do? So what I've done is I've separated this. We have something called the Dirty Dozen. Here, these foods are the Dirty Dozen. And then we have foods, the Clean 15. So everything in this basket, leafy greens, pears, peaches, nectarines, apples, all of these berries and white potatoes, they will have 50 to 70 more chemicals. That means your liver is working overtime if you're going to eat these conventionally grown.
Okay.
I must say, without a doubt, all animal meat and eggs should be organic.
Okay.
That's a whole nother topic. I know we've talked about that before.
We'll get to that next week.
But then we have the Clean 15. And these are some of the Clean 15. We've got grapefruit, asparagus, kiwi, avocados. You also have eggplant, papaya. So those are the ones not as important to buy organic because when they test them for pesticide residue, they really don't have that much when they've grown.
Interesting. Is that because the pesticides can't get through the thicker skin maybe in some of the
Exactly.
fruits and veggies?
The skin is thicker or the plant is inherently stronger and it can ward off bugs coming in so they don't need to use as many
You say it's really important to remember that you can't wash off pesticides, which some people think maybe you can.
Yeah, you can wash off, like, let's look at a berry, right? That is like a sponge. Do you think if you spray that, that's going through that entire berry? Versus if it were something else, like maybe an apple, you could. And I actually posted on our Whole Journey blog, I posted the Dirty Dozen, the Clean 15 with a fruit and veggie wash. For those of you that are still really resistant and you're not going to buy organic, make this $1.50 fruit and veggie wash and at least it'll be 50% better.
Okay.
But I want to impart, the philosophy, either pay now or pay later.
Okay.
And 25% more expensive for your organic fruits and vegetables, or do you pay that out in a lower quality of life and health care later on? And that's probably the most important thing.
Krista, thank you. We appreciate it. If you'd like to learn more from Krista, you can do that by going to our website, fox5sandiego.com, clicking on the Scene on tab. Her business is called The Whole Journey, and it's located in Encinitas. We appreciate you. As always. Okay, Raul, we'll send it on.